Hi, good afternoon. My name is Chris Butler, Assistant Chief, Jacksonville Sheriff's Office, Crimes Against Persons. Basically what I'm going to do is give you a recap of the police shooting that we had last night, which occurred at about 2:19 in the morning. We had a complainant contact our communication center through 911. It basically explained to us that her ex-boyfriend was actually at her house, which is located at 4144 Lorenzo Court. She explained to the dispatchers that her ex-boyfriend was actually beating and banging on the windows and doors. She also went on to state that basically he has done this for the previous 2 weeks each and every night. So with that, 2 police officers were actually dispatched to her home. When the police officers arrived, they actually met with the complainant, but they were able to find her ex-boyfriend. So their instructions to her were basically, if the boyfriend returns, call us and we'll return back. Within about 10 minutes later, her ex-boyfriend actually returned, so she did in fact call for police. The complainant, actually unbeknownst to the police officers, the complainant actually made another telephone call to her current boyfriend, and his name is Damian Sanchez Treadway. And Treadway learned what was happening at her home and decided to go over to her house as well. Treadway told her, when he got to the house, he basically met with her and told her that he was going to go around the back of the house, pretty much with the intention to find her ex-boyfriend. While he was checking behind the house, police officer M.L. Heiss saw Treadway at the back of the home holding a handgun. Police officer Heiss gave a lawful command for Treadway to go to the ground. Treadway failed to do that, actually turned around, faced the officer holding a handgun in his hand. The officer discharged his issued Glock 3 times at Treadway. None of the rounds did actually strike him though. Treadway at that point pretty much went to the ground and he was taken into custody. As I told you this morning, this kind of clears up the little things that we had. It was obviously when we get there, it's a continuing investigation. We learn more facts as far as the day goes in interviews and things are collected at the scene. This morning I mentioned that there was a car driving back and forth. That did not happen. Like I said, the first call, he was actually at her house. The information with the car was just information that was relayed to the dispatchers as far as the type of car that he was driving. So when the officer fired, like I said, he actually discharged his handgun 3 times at Treadway. 2 of the rounds actually went into the house, into a bedroom located at 4148 Lorenzo Court. That home was occupied. There was actually 4 individuals inside that home, but none of the individuals inside were hurt. And so Treadway was taken into custody. He was arrested with possession of firearm by a convicted felon, and the officer was not hurt. Any questions?
So you said that 911 call, did you say it came from 4144? The call, that was where the call...
Yeah, and that was the other thing from this morning. The actual, where it happened, as far as the complainant making the phone call, that was actually coming from 4144 Lorenzo Court. And what you have, you basically have, it's a triplex. There's actually 3 homes that are connected together. 2 of them are kind of forward, and one's kind of all set to the back a little bit. So it's actually 4144 is where the complainant was calling, where not Treadway, but where the complainant's ex-boyfriend was coming over banging on the door.
Okay, so
the windows.
Officers did come to the house twice. They came out once at 151, something like that, and then they came back at 220.
Yes, the actual times that I have, the first call was received at 1:38 a.m. Like I said, that was a call to go to 4144 Lorenzo Court in reference to a disturbance. Police arrived and they left at about 2:10 in the morning, and then at about 2:19 a.m. the police were actually called back.
Did the boyfriend come back, or was there ever any kind of encounter with the police and boyfriend?
No, there was not. The boyfriend never came back.
Okay, so he just went there the one time. Was it the same set of officers who came back to the house?
Yeah, the boyfriend actually came there a total of 2 times. He was there the first time when she called, and then when he came back, he returned the second time. But yes, it was actually the 2 officers that were dispatched originally were the same 2 officers that returned as well.
Was the shooting in the back of the house? That seems to be the direction where the bullets looked like they entered the wall. Did the officers approach from the back?
Well, what you actually have, when they responded the first time, they went to the house, met with the complainant, couldn't find the boyfriend. When they came back, they actually took an altered approach where one came from behind the house, one came from the front of the house. It was actually the officer, Heiss, who was at the back of the house who encountered Mr. Treadway.
Was there any chance at any point, and I'm sure this is part of the investigation, but was there any chance for him to conceal himself behind maybe the fence or that pink building that was there? Is that something you guys are looking at right now?
You mean the treadway or?
The officer.
The officer?
On the approach, yeah. Or was he caught off guard when he encountered the suspect?
As you probably know, we have a process in place to pretty much look at it from an internal standpoint as far as policies and procedures and making sure they were complied with. That might be something that'll come out later because we don't have an opportunity to speak to the officer as far as what happened at this time of the investigation. So, I mean, there's a lot of, I guess, different possibilities that you can take with it. But, you know, he was given, he was presented with what he had. He had an individual armed with a handgun there, so.
One more question.
At this point in the investigation, I know it's early, but is there any indication that a policy violation was made by shooting with the backstop being an occupied dwelling or just any kind of dwelling or home? Was there any indication that a policy was violated here with that shooting?
Again, I can't answer that without knowing all the facts. Like I said, we do have an internal process that we do to review that to see if, you know, everything's in compliance with our policies and procedures, which will take place at a later time.
Okay. Thanks, Chief.
You gotta let somebody other than just Jason ask questions here, don't you?
I said one question.
He was monopolizing.
Jump in anytime.
Yeah, the officers were, they arrived in marked patrol cars and they were wearing a service uniform, such as myself.
And Heiss's history, how long has he been with the sheriff's office?
He's been with the sheriff's office 3 years.
And no shooting?
This is his first shooting.
And he's on
None prior.
administrative leave?
Yes, he was. He's placed on administrative leave.
Can you spell his name?
It's HICE. Initials are ML. Yes.
And the one thing about the boyfriend, so that last call, the boyfriend was there on the last call, and then left with the police got there?
Yes, both calls.
There's no follow-up with the boyfriend?
There's actually a police report that was written for that, and that'll be something that'll be followed up through the patrol division.